So the Halo Infinite beta has come and gone, and honestly, wasn't as bad as I was expecting. Sure, there were bugs here and there, but nothing that shouldn't be ironed out in time for launch. Obviously, I have a few complaints, but none of them are to do with the core gameplay, more so to do with the UI. The UI is serviceable at best. It functions just fine. Nothing more, nothing less. My main problem with it comes from how future-proof it is, or rather, isn't. Despite this being a beta, there are already a lot of customization options in the game, which is absolutely a good thing. It's nice to see that 343 are moving away from Halo 5's very lackluster customization system. My problem is that the UI is not designed very well to accommodate for this, especially considering that this is intended to be a live service game, with more and more armor types and colours added in future. I think something more along the lines of this, with more options visible on screen, would far better suit the game at launch and later down the line. As I mentioned before, there were a few bugs in the game. None of them were game breaking, as far as I'm aware. I just feel like mentioning a few of them as, well, they were quite funny. The most common one people would run into was players just being dead in the intro cutscene, and sometimes they would die during the intro cutscene. Other minor bugs included missing audio in some matches, settings returning to default when booting up the game, and then there were some problems with the prosthetics menu where you would be unable to fully remove a prosthetic once selecting it. The biggest problem was with AI pathing, and well, its lack of any real variation. At the start of the match, every bot would take the exact same route, without fail, every time. Alongside this, they tend to get a bit confused with geometry. They'd jump around randomly and generally just have weird movement. The gameplay and new additions are a lot better than the previous 343 games, and this is especially clear when looking at the new weapons. Gone are the Forerunner and Covenant reskins of pre-existing guns. In place we have completely new additions, for the first time in a good while. The Heatwave acts like a Dead Space laser cutter, being able to switch between horizontal and vertical firing. Alongside this is the Ravager, which can be fired normally for a powerful 3-round burst, or can be charged to act like an incendiary grenade launcher. The final completely new weapon added was the Skewer, which essentially acts as a more powerful sniper in its current state. I'd have liked to seen how it would have fared against vehicles, as we saw in the trailer, but I guess I'll have to wait for the next flight, or possibly the final release. The maps are all solid additions to the roster, those being Live Fire, Recharge, and Bazaar. Live Fire is a very small 3-lane map, and while it doesn't do anything particularly interesting, it serves its purpose well enough. Recharge plays around a lot with verticality, and as a result, really complements the new grappling hook, allowing for some stylish and clever plays. The grappling hook itself is balanced pretty well. You only get 3 charges per pickup, and it has limited reach. Bazaar is my personal favourite from the maps we saw in the beta, being a straightforward arena. It's definitely the fairest map, with power weapons in the middle, and either side being completely identical. Overall, the beta really captures the feel of pre-343 Halo, while also appealing to the newer fans. There are still elements of modern shooters present, such as sprint, sliding, and ADS, but they don't affect the core gameplay nearly enough to be a deal breaker. For the first time in a good while, I'm finding myself being quite hopeful for Halo again. And if the data leaks are anything to go by, the story isn't looking half bad either. That's it from me though. See you around.